part of our seascape painting done in Photoshop Elements. And so what we should be looking at here as far as where our project goes is we should be looking at a background layer with a lens flare, some light coming through the water, some water reflection at the top of our space, and water reflections down on the bottom. So we have those 4 layers in place, and next we're just going to add a couple extra features. We'll start by creating a new layer and moving it all the way up to the top. And what we're going to do with this layer right here is we are going to create some grass. So grass we will create by going to our quick selection brush, or selection brush rather. And grass, remember from our first project, is located as a default brush, so we'll go to default brushes, scroll down, and then you'll see dune grass and grass. And so we'll take a little combination of both, do a little bit of grass here, maybe some more here, and then I may also mix in the dune grass too, so that I get some larger pieces of grass or seaweed in there as well, and just kind of sprinkling these about. Maybe make it a little bigger. That's too much, and just to have some extra bits kind of poking up there. Nice. So that's pretty good coverage. Left a little open space in the middle. You don't have to do that necessarily. And then the way we want to fill this actually is by filling it with a gradient. So I'm going to take my gradient again, and I'm going to keep it as the same gradient that I have here on my my picker from earlier. So it's the same with a light blue to a dark blue. And what we're going to do is go ahead and fill that in the opposite direction. So we're going to start at the bottom and go up so that it fills with a light side down below and a dark side up top. And ideally, the effect is something like what you're seeing here. So again, it looks kind of like a dark bluish sort of color of kind of tint that you would get when you see things underwater. So now we have that in place. What I'm also going to add is some bubbles. So I'm going to add another layer here, and bubbles. Where we can find bubbles again would be if we brush them on. We go to the brush tool, and we would find them in default brushes as well. Or actually, nope, not in default brushes, but in pen pressure brushes. So we go into pen pressure brushes, and you have actually what are called molecules, not bubbles, but molecules. So here's molecule scattering, and then here is just a regular sized molecule. So I'm actually going to take the molecule scatter and just click once at a time for these, and just kind of scatter them about. I thought I was going to get some more variety in the size, so actually let's back up. That might only happen with the other brush, even though that is what I thought that brush would do. So we'll take molecules again, and there we go. So now every click I make, the bubbles are coming out slightly different sizes. And you'll want to add something else to this scene too. I added a turkey in for the sake of the season. The other really last step that I'm going to do, and some may see this as unnecessary, but I think that it's a nice thing to do to add to an underwater scene, is to add a bit of a black kind of vignette edge to the edge. So we're going to take my brush tool again. I'm going to go to default brushes, and take a big brush with a fuzzy edge, and just going to go right around the edges just to add a little bit of kind of a shadow to the edge of my image. Kind of just makes it appear more like we are really underwater. Vision is a little bit foggy, and it just kind of adds to the drama, I think, of an image when you add kind of this vignette shadow to the edges. So and we can turn that on and off and see what the difference is. I think that that's kind of a nice thing to have around the edges. And like I said, bring in something else in here too, maybe something funny, maybe something that does fit, you know, if you want to add some kind of a fish or something to this scene. Feel free to go for it and have fun and be creative. Thanks, guys.